Cheers and shouts of joy erupted as a rare ring of fire eclipse of the sun made its way across the Americas. Today is Sunday, October 15th, 2023, and this is the Dunkley Report. Palestinians are struggling to flee from areas of Gaza targeted by the Israeli military ahead of an expected land offensive a week after Hamas' bloody attack into Israel. Residents of the territory are grappling with a growing water crisis after Israel put the region under a total siege and stopped the flow of resources. Israel's chief military spokesman, Rear ADM, Daniel Hagari, has accused Hamas of trying to use civilians as human shields and issued a new appeal to Gaza residents late Saturday to move south. Hamas urged people to stay in their homes. The UN and aid groups say such a rapid exodus of the evacuation area's 1.1 million residents is causing untold human suffering. President Joe Biden has spoken with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, urging the leaders to allow humanitarian aid to the region, and affirmed his support for efforts to protect civilians. The weekend calls came ahead of Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's announcement that the U.S. was moving up a second carrier strike group in support of Israel. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken also intensified diplomatic outreach across the Middle East and beyond to rally an international response to prevent the Israel-Hamas war from expanding. Blinken met with Saudi Arabian Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan in Riyadh on Saturday, before stopping in the United Arab Emirates. Jews in communities far from Israel gathered at synagogues this weekend for their Shabbat services, held in the aftermath of Hamas militants' attack on Israel that ignited an ongoing war. Rabbis led prayers of peace and shared grief with their congregations. At many synagogues, security was tight. In Pittsburgh, one rabbi explained the deadly Hamas attack is not just another geopolitical event for Jewish people. It is dredging up generations of visceral trauma, especially in Pittsburgh. The city is scarred by the deadliest anti-Semitic attack in the U.S. history. Ethical concerns are casting a shadow over President Joe Biden as he seeks re-election amid investigations into his son, Hunter, and a presidential impeachment inquiry. A poll shows that 35% of U.S. adults believe the Democratic president himself has done something illegal. An additional 33% say they think the president behaved unethically, but not illegally, and 30% say Joe Biden did nothing wrong. The results of the survey by the Associated Press, NORC, Center for Public Affairs Research, reflect both a vast political divide and skepticism about the morality of government leaders. A request from prosecutors for a gag order aimed at reining in Donald Trump's rhetoric is putting the judge overseeing his federal election interference case in a tricky position. U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan must balance the need to protect the integrity of the legal proceedings against the First Amendment rights of a presidential candidate to defend himself in public. It's her biggest test yet in the case. And it underscores the unprecedented complexities of prosecuting the Republican former president, as the judge vows not to let political considerations guide her decisions. Chutkan will hear arguments Monday over the proposed gag order. Trump's lawyers say it's a desperate effort at censorship. Cheers and shouts of joy erupted as a rare ring of fire eclipse of the sun made its way across the Americas. From Oregon to Brazil, millions had waited with anticipation. In the resort city of Cancun, Mexico, families filed into a planetarium to witness the celestial event. In New Mexico, tens of thousands of people attending an international balloon fiesta got a double treat. Unlike during a total solar eclipse, the moon doesn't completely cover the sun during a ring of fire eclipse. When the moon lines up between Earth and the sun, it leaves a bright, blazing border. Saturday's eclipse followed a narrow path from Oregon to Texas and then to parts of Central and South America. French police say the Louvre Museum and Versailles Palace evacuated visitors and staff after receiving bomb threats. Both monuments are being searched by police on Sunday. The threats came after the French government put the country on high alert following the fatal stabbing of a teacher in a school by a suspected Islamic radical. President Emmanuel Macron ordered the deployment of 7,000 troops to heighten security and vigilance. The suspect in the school attack is in custody. His exact motive is unclear. The government is also concerned about fallout in France from the war between Israel and Hamas. West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin has benefited from waiting to reveal where he stood as the swing vote in a chamber closely divided between Democrats and Republicans. He's taken the same approach when it comes to the next phase of his political career. The moderate Democrat has teased possible retirement, a run for re-election to the Senate, or even a presidential campaign in 2024, possibly as an independent candidate. During a multi-day trip to West Virginia's state capital this week, the 76-year-old expressed growing frustration with the polarized U.S. two-party system. He said unless it changes, the system will be the downfall of our country. Ukrainian officials have reported intense combat as Russian forces relentlessly assault the eastern Ukrainian city of Avdiivka. City head Vitaly Barabash said on Ukrainian television on Saturday that the enemy has not stopped either assaulting or shelling positions. Around Avdiivka, Barabash's comments come after Russia's UN ambassador Vasily Nebenzia told a UN Security Council meeting on Friday that Russia's intensified attacks in the east amounted to a new stage in the country's campaign in Ukraine. A 60-year-old woman was killed in Russian shelling of the city of Beryaslav in Ukraine's partly occupied Kherson region on Saturday. Venezuelans have come to feel the decade-long crisis that undid their country as one numbingly featureless expanse of struggles. But the crisis has evolved over the years, and the latest phase is particularly challenging after the economic stability that many experienced for several months overlapping 2021 and 2022 vanished. People again are grappling with constant food price hikes, business closures, and painful thoughts of migrating. Amid the daily reality of living off a minimum wage worth $3.70 a month, Venezuelans are again hearing election chatter as the opposition gets ready to hold a presidential primary October 22nd. But apathy and disgust toward politics and politicians have deepened amid disappointments, corruption accusations, rampant misinformation, and government repression. Today's news was reported by the Associated Press. This has been the World News for Sunday, October 15th, 2023. Thanks again for joining us at The Dunkley Report.